We are back with the second grinding episode regarding the Kikonia When They Cry reading. As before, on the left you will see my level grinding for the Moemon When They Cry Nuzlocke, and on the right you shall see me read through Kikonia no Kokoroni. Let us begin. But you know what? Oh, I don't have it on auto. I was way too reckless putting your body in the line with a sudden sneak attack like that. A real battle, we would have taken each other out. Or you might have hit the building and blown yourself up. Aren't you supposed to be a super genius? Then, don't fight in a way that'll end in a mutual kill with both you and the supernormal enemy. I know that. We were playing, so I just had a bit of fun, okay? And that's not all. The paths of those first suppression missiles were too simple. You keep getting stuck in a pattern without twisting it up a bit. And you wasted time when intercepting missiles. The trajectory when dodging was weak too. Just look at the trajectory data 3 seconds after you started intercepting missiles. What a pointless maneuver. Get rid of the losses from this part, and you would have had enough energy to finish me off in the final clash. And it took up that trajectory data from 23 seconds later to 24.2 seconds later. Make gravity and inertia your friends instead of wasting your anti-G8Ms. Hey, are you even listening, Jaden? Great, here comes Lecture Mode Meow. Meow sent him bits of battle action data, one after another, marked with red annotations. At first I thought this guy was so annoying, acting like he was my instructor or something. Hold on, let me see if I can... There's probably no way to fix the volume. This game is loud as hell. Also, I think I'm going to stop doing a voice for Meow because my throat kind of hurts every time I do it. Yeah, that probably works out best. At first I thought this guy was so annoying, acting like he was my instructor or something. Hold on, auto mode. However, when he's in lecture people, he's definitely not letting his emotions get the better of him. I would look at his eyes. The things he points out are always accurate. And most importantly, he really does watch people. Normally in a fight, you only think about how you're going to take down your opponent, but that's how super strong you'll be when you win, right? Meow is always watching his opponent when he fights. Always thinking. It might sound weird when I put it this way, but he's always seriously thinking about his opponent's feelings. However, the way you demonstrated parallel thinking by searching for a way to strike back while playing tag with missiles wasn't bad. You used evasive maneuvers to gain yourself a momentum of time to stockpile a mental resource when you then employed effectively. Judging by your level of strain, you minimize the damage of unused mental resources throughout the fight. Well, it's not like I can leave any of my brain unused in a fight against you, Meow. See? He really does look closely at his opponent's feelings. He may never miss it when it's clumsy or screws up, but he also never misses it when people work hard. I tried in my own way to make use of the precious advice he gave me in our previous match, and it looked like he really noticed. You tried in your own way to comfort the problems you had the last time we fought. That's what makes you a super genius, Jaden. Nice work. Damn it, why the hell am I blushing at a compliment from a guy? This is why I've never had any desire to quit being your buddy. What? A friend has arrived, Pollo. 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 Then my Kizna Kiddo Pollo notified me that a bunch of friends had arrived at once. Sheesh. Can't you let the two of us flirt alone in peace? Gunhild. Seriously? Just when you should be trying to preserve your sugar levels, you start up an all-out battle? We didn't do too much. Just a bit of warm-up. Right? That's right. Just a bit of light stretching. Your blood sugar levels don't agree. Friendly unit Lilja has registered as hostile. Friendly unit Koshka has registered as hostile. Lilja is this one. Who could have guessed we'd find a couple of kitties playing in a place like this? Meow. Well, this looks like a place worth smashing. And then you're Chloe. Hey, Lilja, Koshka, stop that. This is no time for battle. I won't forgive you for having fun in a place while we were getting bored to tears by that ceremony, Meow. Mew, mew, meow. I was so bored. Time to blow off some steam to make up for it. Let's see who can take down the others first, Meow. There's no way I'd ever lose to a hick like Koshka now. Don't make me laugh. I'll take on you and all the others and crush you. Go ahead and do it if you can. I'll beat up Meow and Jaden and plant you upside down in the Serbian permafrost, Meow Meow. That face! Honestly. I gotta ask, when are the translators gonna get to this? Not the translators, the people who made the Umineko and Higurashi updates. Enemy units Lilja and Koshka have appeared, Reaper's Eye. You have been targeted, Poyo. Enemy unit Lilja summoning an anti-air mine dispenser, Poyo. Enemy unit Koshka summoning an anti-gauntlet sniper rifle, Poyo. Hey, just stop it already! Hey! Stop it already! The instructor's gonna get mad at me! Odds of Chloe getting chewed out by instructor now at 99%, Poyo. Kiddo. Wow, I can't take this anymore. Good grief. Meow, Jaden, are you sure such a light warm-up was enough for you? No, I was just thinking it was time for a real warm-up, right, Meow? Yeah. This time, let's check our ability to work as a team. If you take a gamble like last time, I really will punch you, okay? Oh shit. Sure, I'll just wait for you to get a rocket fist, then it can actually reach my face. Then it's decided. Chloe, we should warm up a little too. Friendly unit Gunhield has registered as hostile. What? No! Look at that face! Friendly unit Gunhield was initiated at HMS surveillance and is now providing data to friendly units, Poyo. Enemy unit Chloe has begun processing Super Tokyo Tower anti-air cannons Sakuraichi and Asagoichi, Poyo. She may try to hide it, but Chloe's totally on board with this. Just let me take all of you out! Instructor, none of this is my fault! Lilja, I'll happily take first strike, Meow. I'm gonna eat everything up, not gonna leave a scrap for Koshka. If you and my target line up, I'll skewer you. Do it if you can, Meow Meow. Hey, there they come. Let's go, Meow. Yeah, I'm so fired up, I could care less about the Battle Standard Festival of Peace. It wouldn't be fun any other way, Poyo. Okay, ready? Fight, Poyo! Oh shit. Okay, intro song. This song is so good. But at the same time, I don't want to be got for copyright, so I might just talk over it, even if only a little bit. Come on, guys, it's been years. Just release it already. Give me a quick second. No matter how far virtual reality advances, it will never compare to the shock of the body's 5 senses. That's true. Suddenly, all 5 of the audience senses were struck by an ear-splitting roar that rumbled down to the pit of their stomachs, as well as other sensations like the smell of iron and oil mixed together. Just now, 5 shiny silver fighter planes passed right over us, dancing through the sky above the International Battle Standard Festival of Peace at Gifu Stadium. Flying at their head was this year's host, Japan of the Arctic Ocean Union, AOU. On either side were fighters from the Europe Middle East Alliance, the Central Ocean Union, the Africa Commonwealth Realm, and the Latin American Treaty. So you mean to tell me that America gets taken over by Latinos in this continuity? Okay. There was a joint flight of fighters from the 5 great factions. Just magnificent. What a fitting ceremony for the Battle Standard Festival of Peace. These warriors of peace have honed their skills and day and night to defend peace on this planet, and the crowd can't get enough of them. Let there be eternal peace in this world. And thank you, warriors of peace, for supporting the walls of peace from both sides yet again today. The walls of peace were surely crumbled if not supported from both sides. James F. Kennedy. Hold on. Let me look that up. Is that an actual quote? The walls of peace will surely crumble if not supported from both sides. It was John F. Kennedy who said that. Quote. Yeah, that was JFK. Who's James F. Kennedy? I don't know. You know what? I'm going to start streaming this. This is hype. Alright. This is what we call Dubonnet Barrel or something, Kennedy's powder keg. After saying this, the instructor wrote Kennedy's powdered keg on an electronic billboard behind him. An illustration that resembled a keg appeared. Both the letters of the illustration were drawn very poorly, and the students all giggled. The instructor was teaching while walking amongst the students' seats with hands clasped behind him. Through the blackboard was far away from him. He was directly drawing and writing on it. He was using a brainwave input device called a mental tablet. Once we needed hands to manipulate the writing tools, keyboards, and equipment needed to leave records. However, humanity in this world had gained the ability to not only write letters, but even draw pictures without using their hands. However, no matter the device, only the young can use it to its full capacity when it's brand new. So the aged instructor still wasn't used to it, leading to these rough letters and drawings that didn't suit his high upbringing and education at all. Instructor, as you can see, the keg is a cylindrical container made of several boards bound together. Since my drawing is so pathetic, I ask that all of you who lack an imagination do an image search. If you can have a tablet in your brain, then of course you can have a display there too. Some of the more serious students did a serious search for the word keg which was displayed as an image inside their brains. Those less serious were using their mental displays to watch TV, play games, or else chat with their friends in virtual rooms. Nearby people had no way of telling what someone was looking at in their mental display. Also, if you wanted to chat with your friends, there was no need to move your mouth. You could use mental transmission to talk without speaking. And so both the serious and non-serious students gave birth to an ideal environment for themselves. Badass. Kennedy's powdered keg represents the gunpowder of conflict sealed in a container where the military efforts of each individual country formed the boards. Then, a red line was drawn on the picture of the keg on a blackboard and one of the bounds was removed, leaving a gap. However, what if just one board was short and left a gap? Naturally, everything out inside our keg would pour out. Kennedy's powdered keg tells us that if even a single country fails in its military efforts for the sake of peace, the gunpowder will pour out from there and explode. Once military power had been necessary to protect the safety of one's nation. In every nation, in every era, young people who take on the responsibility of protecting their country have been praised for their patriotism and service of the state. They're like white blood cells in the human body, and no one ever finds anything odd about praising them. However, after massive losses caused by 2 world wars and a Cold War brought about by nuclear weapons, and particularly after the advancement of data storage techniques that allowed the inhumanities of war to be seen far and wide over and over again, some of humanity had developed what might be called a war allergy. Then, when the Great Depression kicked, the end of the 21st century kicked off a fierce economics. At the end of the 21st century. When does this game take place? People in countries around the world started talking seriously about reducing military spending. Taking advantage of that, pacifists began a major global campaign. That movement received an international tailwind gained heavy support from people across the world, made poor by social security system that had been crushed by the Depression. Certain politicians played to the masses and rode this tailwind, building up bases of support all over the planet. They spoke pleasant-sounding words of world peace and love for all humanity, leading the charge of unilateral disarmament in certain countries and earning wide acclaim. All over the world, videos were shared of soldiers returning their medals and leaving the army, claiming that being a soldier was a shameful way to serve one's country. That's horrible. The first few who started this boom were praised by the press, and many clamored to have them nominated for the Bernard Peace Prize. Isn't it Nobel Peace Prize? Bernhard Peace Prize. My prize is in accounting through a Sunday book. Huh. I don't know of any Bernhard Peace Prize. Is it called Bernhard Nobel then? Bernhard Nobel. Ah, okay. It's a Nobel Peace Prize, but they just use his first name instead of his last name. Wow, these guys really don't want to get arrested for some reason. Or sued. The whole world praised this as a beautiful story, one that would encourage all who suffered under the Great Depression. Every day, the news told stories of countless soldiers leaving armies as an act of self-criticism against the military, to the applause of the people. And it delighted in showing stories of tanks and fighter jets being scrapped, given the numbers for how much that saved in construction and maintenance costs, and comparing that with how many babies could be fed with the same funds. It was a global disarmament boom. If all neighboring countries had reduced their militaries at the same time, this would have been a wonderful thing. However, as the prisoner's dilemma suggests, the strategies that baselessly assume that your partner will act with benevolence are less than ideal with affairs between nations. This resulted in an extremely tilted military balance across several national borders around the world. At the time, national leaders who disarmed unilaterally were laughed as pioneers of world peace and given several international awards. However, in the current A3W era, their reputation had done a 180. Okay. Oh, A3W after War III. Okay. Hey, really? Is that what that means? A3W meaning. Look up. It just seems like a file extension. Kikonia. What does it mean in Kikonia? A third world. Well, that's what it means? Does A3... Okay. Let me see what it's called. View page. Does A3W a third world? Does A3E mean a third world, as in the third game of the series? Are we awaiting phases to come? A3W is, although I think it was never after Third War, meaning after World War III. Yeah, okay. B3W was the era before the World War III. It's basically used the abbreviations to divide the timeline. After Third War, meaning after World War III, in return, B3W is the era before World War III. They basically use the abbreviations to... Okay. So this is currently after World War III. Well, damn. They were condemned for abandoning their support of the Wall of Peace that separated countries and accused of the sin of negligence in their duties towards world peace. Provided deterrent to arms races and security dilemmas while enshrouding the gunpowder of war by maintaining a suitable military balance between all countries. This is the philosophy of the IPMA, the International Peace Mediation Association. That sounds evil. And it is how a healthy military balance preserves world peace. World War III had several causes, but some likened it to a human body where a nutrient imbalance had triggered a great illness. That led to the concept of world peace preserved by a healthy military balance. For example, Japan once polished rice because it tasted better the wet way, which led to vitamin deficiency and a disease called beriberi. They removed that bad-tasting bran, but they didn't realize that it contained vital nutrients. That bran was like military might. True, military might does have a violent and inhumane side to it. Any humanitarian would claim that it tasted bad. However, when they polished it off and threw it away, it resulted in a fatal nutrient deficiency for certain nations. Very true. When military might not only exists on some sides but on others, it's easy to enter an irreversible situation. It was like trying to climb a mountain without a safety line. You'll be fine as long as nothing happens, but if something unexpected occurs, there won't be anything left to support you. One of the World War III's other causes, populism, led to increasing friction between neighboring countries and placed a lot of pressure on border regions. That wouldn't have been a problem if those borders, those walls of peace, had been supported on both sides. However, whenever one side refused to support these walls, they fell over, easily inviting a situation that couldn't be undone. Military might is an element that tastes bitter to humanity. We have chosen to view it as a mineral of a micronutrient necessary for the body to function. Everyone knows that if you pile up zinc and iron and manganese on the table and eat it, it'll be harmful for your health. However, these are essential nutrients that you can't afford to be deprived of, and you need to continue ingesting them in suitable quantities. In the same way, a nation's military might needs to be maintained to a suitable degree to bring about healthy relationships between countries, or so they say. As a result, military might was viewed as a different light in the A3W era as a micronutrient for nations. The tendency to think of soldiers as murderers and enemies of peace was done away with. After all, soldiers of your country were fundamentally war buddies, even to soldiers in neighboring countries, as they all worked together to support the walls of peace. The social rank of soldiers rose, and the world became one in which children didn't hesitate to say they wanted to become soldiers when they grew up. That's good. Soldiers no longer existed for the purpose of defeating their opponents. They were redefined as servants of international peace, but who protected not only their country, but also their country's neighbors. They supported the walls between countries, preparing for unexpected situations in nearby nations that even those nations wouldn't have wanted, and prevented them from developing into something irreversible. Even the closest spouses and friends fight sometimes. Soldiers who supported the walls of peace were like cushions wedged in the middle of fights like that, preventing a fatal situation from developing, so that everyone could laugh it off and forgive each other in the end. Humans really are crazy, huh? That's so. Two people who looked very different from those students watched this lecture through their mental displays. They seemed to be amusing themselves with it rather than attending it. I mean, whenever organisms gather together, it's to increase their chances of survival, right? In other words, they gain enough military might to protect themselves against outward foes. Isn't rejecting something like that basically sacrilege against the miracle of life on this planet? No. I wasn't trying to criticize people for praising strong militaries. Oh, you weren't? Then what are you trying to say? I don't care if you criticize or praise militaries. As you said, Grandmaster, military power is a natural right you have as a life form to increase the odds of your survival. True. And it's also a natural obligation you have for the sake of protecting your descendants who can't protect themselves. Also true. But at the same time, it's also a double-edged sword that can hurt both you and your neighbors. So whether you criticize it or worship it, you should always consider debating and searching for a better way to exist. So that's most important thing, is having people debate all the time? Isn't debate just the means used to reach an end? I doubt you can guide the common man if your means become your ends. True, debate can be easily led to wasting time. It's not a great idea to gradually work out a solution when you have got an urgent and pressing issue to deal with. I'm just trying to explain how unpleasant these extreme changes are and how it's just an uncertain when nothing changes at all. Right up until World War III, military might was viewed as evil. Who the fuck said that? Their culture was such that every politician, philosopher, musician, and artist went on and on about love and peace, and how they needed to throw away their weapons because militaries were the shame of humanity. You know who said this? The hippies. It was a world where even whispering about the need for military power on social media would get enough to get... Wait, what? It was a world where even worshipping about the need for military power on social media would be enough to get someone accused of blasphemy against peace and socially murdered. Holy shit. However, even though humanity disliked military might, that didn't mean they'd abandon their dislike for other races. As a result, the door to World War III was opened not by militaries maintained by nations, but by selfless military actions as by individuals, people with self-righteous ideals. And now that's totally flipped around, with everyone saying, "Long live the military! Thank you, troops! I'm gonna grow up to be a great soldier who protects his country and world peace." Yeah, that's pretty extreme. Hilarious, in fact. And now, if you imply that militaries are immoral in any way, the whole world will call it blasphemy against peace and ostracize you. At first, it seems to be the exact opposite of what they did before. But they're basically doing the same thing. Differing opinions are aggressively silenced as no one has the guts to actually discuss the issue. The mind of the masses is like a single bit of data. Why does this remind me of CNN and the people who watch it? You mean it can only ever be 0 or 1? Yeah, that's it. Are you on the far right side or the far left? They can't see anything besides that. Holy shit. And because that's all their mind can hold, they aren't capable of debate. And they aren't receptive or clever enough to accept a position that's different from theirs. If you want to strengthen that one-bit person, then there's no choice but to train them, right? I'll bet the training would be pretty harsh for those one-bits. By training the one-bits, they must have meant the act of letting differing opinions collide in debates. However, no matter which time period you look at, history doesn't record many people capable of tolerating differing opinions in the name of diversity. Whether it's religions, ideologies, or how you like your eggs cooked, the world is full of people incapable of accepting diversity. You mean like a college professor? Fair enough. After all, even people who claim to be for diversity are unable to accept that the existence of people who dispute that belief. Holy shit, actually a good thing to read. Holy fuck, this is good. It's not at all an easy thing to do. People crowd together with those who share their own views, exterminating all opposing views. That's what debate means to humanity now, as it approaches the 10 billion person mark once again. It's been like this since before the time of Rome. Sometimes, kings urge their subjects to take part in debate. However, the one-bits never managed to count to anything but 0 or 1. Still, in my opinion, if you stop thinking and debating, you aren't even human anymore. This guy should be in When They Cry 3 and 4. He would have done better than Battler. I'm kidding. He probably wouldn't. He probably would have gotten fucked. But still. Oh, by the way, I know this is a bit late to be saying this, but if you are under 18, get off my channel, please. I say that quite a bit, but it's true now, it's true then. This is the kind of stuff that I do not want anyone under 18 playing. Hell, this game got rated M for mature. So, I mean, you can come back when you're older, I'm not going to stop you. But realistically, you shouldn't be here until you're older. But that out of the way, let's continue. You really are a warrior, aren't you? Very well. I shall grant you the title of 8-bit. You honor me, Grandmaster. The people can't do anything but advance in a direction that's been decided for them. Showing people where to go is what a king does. If you're waiting for the common man to gain enough intelligence to take part in debate, I'm afraid the sun will probably burn out first, right? Even so, I want to have faith in people. What if people didn't get knocked around by the consensus going forward when they say forward, stepping when they say stop, and going left and right when they tell you to? What if everyone could have their own opinion, debate them together, and accept each other? And what if then you looked around and saw that everyone accepted everyone else, and that direction was moving in the same direction? I'm gonna need a raid check on this one. This is a pretty interesting question. I hope a miracle like that will occur someday. I don't. It might not happen until the days before the sun burns out and the globe is covered with ice, but I believe we will make it in time. Drat! Mizoguchi lost. Come on, isn't judo supposed to be Japan's specialty? Last year, a power harassment scandal threw the association into chaos. Guess that means I win. Several numbers appeared in their virtual space, and the numbers on Shisat's side decreased and were added to Tojiro's side. This time, they were watching a broadcast of the International Battle Standard Festival of Peace. It was a celebration of peace where countless young people displayed the techniques they had honed and the hard work they had put in for the sake of this day. However, to the middle-aged people casually gazing at it, it was merely something to compliment a drink or two to bet on. Ikonia, When They Cry. Okay. A triangular, luxuriously designed table was lit by a faint light. Until your eyes adjusted to the darkness, you wouldn't be able to see anything else. And then, a white hand suddenly stretched into that darkness. Oh, is it the Pokemon white hand? That hand was holding a small bag with a gold embroidery. Open it. As you wish. In that case... The contents of the bag were laid out on the table. Illuminati. It was 3 coins. 2 of them were gold, and 1 was silver. After all, you people will never know when that time will come. Wir Dreisig. Always keep your eyes open. Oh, this is a character from Kikoni. Yes, it's the Takano, Lambda, and Satoko connection, if I remember correctly. Didn't Awa call Satoko Veer for some... No, she said Veer lost her memories. That's what she said. Oh, the Doomsday Clock. I remember this. What is the Doomsday Clock on in the real world right now? Let me look it up. Doomsday Clock. 2022. What is it on? 100 seconds to midnight, they say. Yeah, according to the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, we are 100 seconds to midnight on the 2022 Doomsday Clock. Okay. And there it is. Gundarenko's famous also Togari. The ALU Russian army really has been focusing on its judo. Japan removed it from its military training routine just last year, but I'll bet this stirs up another fiery debate in this country. We've just received new information. In the striker class group. Okay. Tank competition. Second Lieutenant Alberto Garcia of the LATO Argentinian military has successfully achieved the first hat trick of this year's festival. The Lotto military certainly has taken a gamble this year, entering only people under 20 into the group tank competition, but it looks like it's playing off. I think it's safe to say that youth speaks louder than experience these days. I suppose whether it's a blazing trail to a new era, or maintaining the peace, no one is more qualified than the young. Still, I like to see our more experienced soldiers give it their all too. The International Battle Standard Festival of Peace was a competition featuring soldiers from across the world. Of course, this competition included more than just sports. Yes, perfect. What beautifully perfect flight. The ABN British Air Forces refuses to surrender their place as masters of the art of the skies, and their second lieutenant, George White, truly is a genius, even at the age of 18. He certainly has the skills, but his plane is incredible too. In every part of those blueprints, you can feel the spirit that their designers devote to the art of the sky. Now let's switch over to the maritime competition. At the Warship Triathlon, Dreadnought Class 30-gun Division, and Heavy Bombardment Ship Gloria del Lobito from the ACR Angola Navy has passed the qualifying round with a festival record. Last year, the ACR Combined Navy made an incredible showing. However, you can't forget the COU Chinese Navy's new ship, that Tianjin, which won last year's Central Ocean Cup. But events included not just soldiers, but their weapons as well. The way they determined winners and losers was an open, refreshing thing, designed to foster a noble soldiership among the troops who protected world peace together. Of course, it was still a competition, so they fought against members of the opposing factions as if they were enemies. However, when both sides learned from each other and interacted, they grew to respect one another. Every national military from every faction deepened their relationships during the International Battle Standard Festival of Peace. To those who supported the walls of peace from both sides, the friendship this inspired was the best way to prevent war. At the same time, this put the military techniques from countries all over the world on display, making it possible for all national militaries to share in new technologies. This prevents future breakthroughs in military tech from causing a breach in the military. That's wrong. Wouldn't it be the case that let's say some other country develops new military tech? Don't you think they would keep it hidden and just bring really substandard equipment that matches the level of the equipment currently used at the AOU, thus preventing any exponential military growth from any other side, outside of other countries that create more military might? Wouldn't that mean that eventually the arms race would catch up to how it was again, and this is all just a sham? Thinking. Instead of avoiding military might, the world could acknowledge its function and maintain a healthy balance, making world peace a reality. That's why the International Battle Standard Festival of Peace existed. Shut up. Or at least, that was what the event planning committee liked to say. To be perfectly honest, all nations wanted to look good in the eyes of their citizens, so they tried to get good results, earning medals left and right. Since war never broke out, the report cards for militaries became the number of medals they won in the festival. In other words, though the young were supposedly the main participants in the old event, the expectations of the old affected it significantly. So through soldiership was supposed to be taking something noble. There was always talk of bribery and doping behind the scenes. That too! I completely forgot about that. Yeah, like the Russians in the Olympics. Well, that sort of thing happens in every era. There's no point harping on it. Those young people who carried the prestige of their nations were spurred on mercilessly. Only those who succeeded were praised, and those who didn't measure up were abandoned. This happens in all eras. There's no point harping on that either. True. It's always the young who are made to compete, and the adults only reward success. The young don't want the adults to abandon them, so they always press forward. You fool! Didn't I tell you not to let your eyes off Lilja and Koshka, not even for a second? I'm so sorry, instructor. Why are you causing a ruckus right before a match? A time when you must be at your absolute peak condition. You knew they would run wild right away, didn't you? But instead, you start going crazy with them. You fool! You imbecile! You nincompoop! I'm so sorry! I'm so sorry! Come on, if we just have a few sweets, our physical condition will be back to normal in no time, meow. The most efficient way for Gatland Knights to restore their stamina was sugar. In other words, dessert. Lilja and Koshka had returned from the athletes' cafeteria with extra-large parfait in both hands, didn't give a damn about that Chloe was getting in trouble because of them. They were happily gulping down their parfaits. If anything, this is all because I was kept waiting so long for my turn, it got boring. Okay, seriously, what happened to Koshka? Why does she look like this? Let me look it up. Kikonia Koshka. Okay, what happened to her? What happened to this chick? Okay. Has the disheveled green hair, wears a green brow, face covered in bandages, she wears uniform. Okay, lazy when she gets going, she becomes an unstoppable force. She uses masculine speech forms in the Japanese version. Special abilities, Pandora's Box SS. Okay. Interesting. Okay, but what caused her to have that face thing? Oins Meow. Jones Meow. Grave Molson Comedy and COU. Koshka shows his pleasure in Chloe and Lilja. In epilogue, bloodied Koshka becomes surrounded by police officers. Oh shit. Oh, her name's just Kat in Russian. Okay. Interesting. Apparently, Koshka lookalikes appear in Higurashi Ray. Good to know. But I didn't get any explanation for why she has bandages. Whatever. You little rats! Oakley stamped his feet, but because of his position and other adult reasons, he couldn't hit Lilja or Koshka. So he karate chopped Chloe twice in the head. She totally enjoyed it. These kids would be up very soon, just when he wanted them to be in their best conditions for the sake of their nations and factions. They had started up a battle royale in the simulator just because they were bored? Do you realize how many people worked hard and how much money was spent to get you fools into peak condition? And now you're wasting all- wait, what the fuck? And now you're wasting all that just because you can play with your friends? You're bored? Arrgh. I heard the structure eat, my head's gonna cave in. After going that crazy, it's amazing they managed to recover so quickly. That's youth for you. Give a kid some chocolate and they'll be perfectly fine. By the way, this chocolate's delicious. What country is it from? Meow. A Gatland Knight's fatigue manifests itself in the brain. It's hard to self-diagnose. You've managed to recover up to 89%, Meow. Don't forget that you've got at least 10% of your fatigue remaining. You don't understand. In this world, there are some kinds of power that you've got to work for, even if it wears you out. Next time, go build up that power on your own. Have some respect for my time. You say that, but your brainwave data after match was as good as it gets. Want me to compare it to your historical graphs and send it to you? The data says you're skulking and wagging your tail at the same. What the fuck? Shut up! I'm not gonna fight you again. Go staple a picture of me to a wall and do it on your own time. What the fuck? Like, anyone else reminded like a bullet from Redo of Healer? I'm getting this from Jaden here, and it's all because of Meow's insinuation. You're hilarious, Meow. The condition of your blood says you're still somewhat fatigued, but I must admit that your unquantifiable mental condition has improved. The young can be so interesting. I'm pretty sure you qualify as young too. Oh right, how silly of me. I'll bet Gunhild's mental age has the 1 and 10 digit split. Because he's 81. Wait, how old is Gunhild? Kick. Konya Gunhild age. Wait a minute. Okay. Move up. F age. Though she was selected as a candidate at an extremely late age of 12, the growth of her mental power didn't stop there. Oh, she was selected at 12, but how old is she? Okay. Looking. Raj. No age. Damn it. So apparently she's Swedish. She's a progressive, goddammit. I'll bet Gunhild's middle age has the 1s and 10 digit split. There's no helping it. You'll never find a parallel processor who isn't weird. Still, the skill you get as a result is honestly amazing. Well, I know I wouldn't trust your butts to anyone but old Granny Gunhild. Gauntlet Knights were typically developed in 3-person teams. And in Meow, Jaden, Gunhild team, Meow and Jaden were only able to focus on their offensive roles in the front lines because they had Gunhild supporting them from behind. However, she wasn't just a supporter. She was in that role because that's what she was best at. But she was also talented enough to riddle any attacker with holes that they broke through. On the contrary, perhaps because she always observed her opponents calmly as a supporter, she actually won most of the time in one-on-one matches against Meow and Jaden. But she humbly claimed that she only won because she'd memorized Meow and Jaden's pattern, and that she'd be totally useless in a real fight. However, Meow and Jaden knew they could trust her backs to her. By the way, Meow was an ace of the AOU Japanese military. Jaden had come from an ace unit in the AOU American military. Jaden's American. Interesting. Okay. Of course, Gunhild was an ace too of the AOU Swedish military. These were 3 of the best aces the AOU had. Groups of 3 people supporting each other lives like this were sometimes called kette, an imitation of the Air Force or squad, an imitation of the Army. Meow, Jaden, Gunhild. They were the 0017th Aerial Augmented Infantry Squad Warcat of the AOU, Combined Military Central HQ. It was one of the best Gauntlet Knights kette in the AOU Arctic Ocean Union. As Meow Group put it, they were the honor student kette. As Meow Group put it, they were the honor student kette. Over there was the problem child kette. Lja, Koshka, and Kroe. The 10th Aerial Augmented Infantry Experimental Squad Grave Mole of the AOU Combined Military G-Roy Level 4 Heavy Military Research Center. Koshka was attached to the AOU Russian military, but wasn't a soldier strictly speaking. It had been kept quiet for privacy reasons, but rumor was that she had given some kind of exemption in exchange for participating in some aerial augmented infantry related research and human experimentation. Is that why she has all those bandages? Apparently she was officially equipment in the care of Level 4 Heavy Class Military Research Center, which had been loaned out to the military for the International Battle Center Festival of Peace. Ah, so equipment is the Kikonia equivalent to furniture, maybe? I think. Of course, she was equipment. She was also the highest tier equipment that existed, and she understood her position, so she could do whatever she wanted. She had no desire to listen to her superior officers, and even Okonogi, her instructor, couldn't lay a finger on her no matter how much she pissed him off. That might make it sound like she was utterly self-centered and uncooperative, but apparently she improved a lot from how she used to be. What the fuck? What? Is there something on my face? It's the opposite, Meow. You're blocking my way with that big face of yours, Meow. Well then, I'll just gouge out your eyeballs so that you don't have to look at it anymore. Huh? What's that? Could you talk a bit slower? Your hick words are so bad, my Kizuna can't translate them all, Meow. Liljao was attached to the AOU Finnish, the Arctic Ocean Union Finnish military, but she was officially a military research center equipment, just like Koshika. Okay. Once again, details about her were unknown for privacy reasons, but well, she was just as much of a problem child as Koshika was. Apparently, just like Koshika, she'd stir up all kinds of outrageous trouble, using her special position as a shield. Was she not on good terms with Koshika, or not? Was she always approaching Koshika when subtly teasing her and picking fights? Was she also high-grade equipment? Problem child number 2, who always got along with Koshika, only when they were ignoring their superior officers. Stop it! Don't make your blood conditions any worse! That instructor's karate chops really will make my head cave in. Let's find out if I actually do that. Nice one, Koshika. Let's go wild in the simulator again, Meow. Then Chloe will get in trouble again, Meow. No, I hate this kid so much. Chloe alone wasn't equipment. She was a soldier in the... Fuck, I forgot the name already. Atlantic Ocean Union Canadian Military. Okay, AOU. What? Let me try to remember what AOU stands for. AOU means Arctic Ocean Union. Okay. But what sort of unlucky star was she born under? Right after she won through all those aptitude tests and exams and thought she had become the gauntlet knight of her dreams, she'd been saddled with looking after this crazy equipment. And partly because of this, the instructor who couldn't punch the high-grade equipment would instead smack Chloe's head whenever they did anything weird. Chloe was a sad sufferer, always stuck in between her instructor and the selfish equipment. But of course she wasn't just there to take care of those two. She definitely was one of the top-ranked gauntlet knights throughout the entire Arctic Ocean Union combined military. After all, when the selfish equipment went back to the research center for maintenance, she got extremely high grades doing mock battles by herself. These two squads with a total of 6 people were the athletes sent by the Arctic Ocean Union to participate in the Aerial Augmented Infantry Division of the year's International Battle Standard Festival of Peace. Individual countries did compete in the festival, but it was their inter-faction competitions that got most people excited. Nothing was more thrilling than watching neighboring nations work together to achieve victory in the battle between the 5 great factions that represented the after Third War world. Broadcast booth, are you getting video? Huh? Here we are in the Verity Arena. Finally, the young members of the Aerial Augmented Infantry from all factions are entering the stadium. All the representatives of the AOU have just arrived. Aerial Augmented Infantry, that was their official title. They were more commonly known as Gauntlet Knights. These miraculous soldiers of the new era wore gauntlets on their left arms, and they could fly on their own through the sky, repel all sorts of weapons, attacks, and wield any kind of weapon. At this year's festival, the Aerial Augmented Infantry Division had finally been established, and their true worth had been revealed to the world at large. However, their fights were too dangerous to be held in real space. As was also the case for other events emulating real warfare, live fire competitions carry some risks, no matter how many safety measures you take. However, if you use mock equipment for the sake of safety, the battle becomes completely uninteresting. So, dangerous competitions are taking place in the virtual location known as Verity Arena. Okay. That said, in the virtual world that had advanced as far as possible, sensations of sight and sound were in no way inferior to reality. Spectators were able to view it as if it were happening right before their eyes. And though the participating athletes were in a simulator room, it felt as though they were actually in the arena. I wonder what kind of people the other factions are sending. I doubt there's gonna be anyone as normal as you and me. That's not true, Meow. If the world was full of crazy as Koshika, it would have been annihilated by now, Meow. Liljao, please stop picking fights with Koshika. If you run wild here, everyone in the world's gonna see it. The instructor's chop really will make my head cave in. My stomach's full and I'm sleepy, so I won't fight back. Yawn. That yawn was just broadcast publicly. Looks like Chloe really will face the chop when this is over. Oh shit. Oh, that cart that just came in. Is that the COU? It is. They're being led by Second Lieutenant Liu Lingji from COU China. So that's Lindsay, the ace among aces from the COU. Her official simulator score is the best in the world. Well, it's probably exaggerated. Gunhilde. Behind her are Momotake from COU Japan and Aisha from COU Indonesia. Okay. They're the COU's best squad. The COU Combined Military HQ Imperial Squad Augmented Infantry Squad. Baibao. Baibao? How do you pronounce that? Baibao pronunciation. No idea. Remember your training. We cannot lose. Of course. As long as I still draw breath, none shall lay a finger upon our princess. I'll bet you just wanted to say that. That's why you were practicing in the bathroom earlier, right? What? No way. That definitely, absolutely did not happen. How did you know? Momotake. You mustn't lose your composure before a battle. Even the princess got mad at you. The next three were from Suparna. Suparna? What is that? Suparna. Kikonia. Okay, the COU from the military branch, the members are 3. And then Suparna is the 301st Aerial Augmented Infantry Squad. As in, from the Central Ocean Union. Okay. All those Central Ocean Union people look so serious. I'll bet if you told them a joke, they'd just stare at you coldly and ignore you, meow. Wait, that's not the narrator. Let's see if their eyes remain cold once they've been thoroughly beaten. I mustn't listen to anyone. Not to our enemies. Not to Baibao. Not even to my teammates. Sheesh. How about you chill out a bit and have some fun? Try waving. Hey everybody. If you're looking for Andre from COU Madagascar, that's me. Come on. You wave too, Duki. Huh? Rukshana. Hello? I'm Rukshana from COU Saudi Arabia. Stop, you two. You're embarrassing us. How many times do I have to tell you not to play along with the nonsense of a careless man who bears no responsibility? Even though all I did was wave my hand when he made me. Hang in there. Hang in there, Yuki. The commentator, the contestants from the ABN have also arrived. As expected, they've been led by the 3 members of the ABN. Okay, let me look up ABN. So it's Central Ocean Union, Arctic Ocean Union, and ABN Iconia. ABN lookup. Wait, no, that's not Iconia. What the fuck? Iconia. Arab Brothers Nation. Okay. The contestants from the ABN have also arrived. They expected being led by 3 members of the ABN Peace Department. Holy 901st Aerial Augmented Infantry Squad. Thalathat Sur. What the fuck? How do I pronounce that? Let me look up what that means. Thalathat Suyuf. Okay, Thalathat Suyuf is Scotland. Oh, what does the word mean though? Google Translate. It's probably gonna be wrong, but it's better to get landed Suyuf. Thalathat Suyuf is landed Suyuf, but what does Suyuf mean? Suyuf meaning region, area, district, zone, country, nation. Interesting. Probably wrong though. Okay. I like it. I like it quite a bit. This is getting interesting. Okay. Okay. Whoa, get a load of that pipsqueak in the front. That'll be Naima from ABN Iraq. From what I've heard, she's the ABN's top ace. Our pipsqueak is quite the top ace too. You aren't talking about me, right? Wow, wow, wow! Hi, everyone! I'm from the ABN. Pleased to meet you. Wow, wow, wow! Naima, don't get overwhelmed by the atmosphere. I'm detecting an imbalance in your cranial secretions. What the fuck? But, wow, wow, wow! Ah, I'm so nervous and excited. My eyes keep spitting, and this is so fun! Wow, wow, wow! Take a sedative. Fuck! Yo, imagine if you could do that to someone. Just say, okay, take a sedative. It'll affect your performance, but we don't want you hyperventilating before the match starts. Wow! Wow! Fuck! Whoa! 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 At pound shift 4 percentage at shift 7 tilde ellipses close quotation marks. How are you also supposed to read that, actually? I have no idea. The Battle Center Festival is a farce. We've already done our duty just by showing up like this. And now we welcome the 3 members of the ABN Peace Department. 12th Holy Agent Corps Yaladot Shavit. Hi there, everyone. We're the 12th Holy Agent Corps Yaladot Shavit. Today we'll be showing you the miracle of human harmony, friendship, and love. Look at the staff seating area. Isn't that Nathan from the Belgian Hot Choir? I'll send you the data. Look right next to him. Isn't that Jean from the Luxembourg Choir? Stefania. So they really are going out. Yeah! And these cheers are for the representatives of the ACR. That means we have all 4 participating factions present. In front we have the June 1st King's Tour Memorial Squad of the ACR Royal Aerial Light Corps, followed by the Queen's Cairo Visited Memorial Squad of the ACR Combined Military 1st Aerial Light Corps. Rethabile. The time has finally come to show everyone the glory of the African Commonwealth realm. You may prostrate yourselves before me, foolish masters of the earth. There is no need for you to do anything, princess. Please leave this match in our hands. Ishak. Abdul. Good plan. If the princess screws up and embarrasses us, that'll annihilate our bonuses. And if we win and tell everyone it was all thanks to the princess' leadership, our bonuses will be doing just fine. As will our reputations. Gah! If you're gonna talk behind my back, do it where I can't hear you. I mean, don't do it. Look at that crowd. This is so exciting, so tense. Hey, isn't it? Don't you feel the same, Noor? Don't you? Stop smothering me. Get back, you puppy. Sheesh, how did someone this hyperactive ever join the Aerial Night Corps? Don't you think it's weird, Maria? Wait, her gauntlet is on the right hand. Let me look up Noor Kikonia. ACR Egypt, leader of the Gauntlet Knights. Squad Cairo Memorial Squad. Personality has hunters of tanks. Let me look it up. Control F, right. Nope. Arm. Nope. Why is it on her right arm though? Weird. I know just how you feel, Gannett. I'm feeling tense too. Pet. Hey! Don't pet me! I don't want anyone but cool big sis Noor to touch me. Oh shit. Don't touch me, puppy! Your idiocy is contagious. Let's go over there, Mariana. Don't touch me, I hate cold-hearted people. And I love puppies. Let me pet her. What the fuck? And the final group entering is the Peace of Referees of the International Peace Mediation Association. The one on the right? He has a nice bosom. I'm gonna say that right now. There's First Lieutenant Valenia of the Lado Brazilian military and First Lieutenant Mari Carmen of the Lado Mexican military. Personally, I would have preferred to see the Lado military field a team too, but... well, the military and the police have been arguing over which group the aerial augmented infantry squad should be attached to. The military won in the end, but sadly they didn't make it in time to apply for the festival. I'm Valentino of the IPMA military. I'll be refereeing this match. And I'm Mari Carmen. Do what we say or you'll get showered with red cards, okay? Beast of Power? Everyone, can you believe it? These boys and girls are the aerial augmented infantry troops you've been hearing about. Armed with nothing but a single gauntlet, they fly through their air like fighter jets. They are armed to the teeth like warships, and they have invincible shields that can repel any sort of attack. In other words, it's fair to say that right here, right now, the peak of the entire world's military might have been gathered together. Well, it's unknown weapons whose true power has yet to be revealed. Even including today's event, their real worth hasn't been demonstrated outside of Verti. They've become part of this festival starting this year, but before that, the debate over whether this is a military event or an esport kept going on and on. By equipping the cutting-edge technology called the Gauntlet Knights, certain little boys and girls could fly like fighter jets, arm themselves like warships, and repel attacks like invincible tanks. Naturally, seasoned soldiers weren't going to just believe something like that. If things like the aerial augmented infantry really existed, the whole world's air, sea, and land power would become obsolete. The world's military strength wouldn't be measured by the number of soldiers, but by the number of boys and girls capable of wielding a gauntlet. Haven't we already heard this? For that reason, some of the spectators who were former soldiers watched them coldly as sneered at the contestants. Ha ha ha, ridiculous. Little brats flying around in the sky? Which comic are these superheroes from? Soldiers from all over the world train fiercely to protect world peace. Don't you think it's an insult to all soldiers allowing these kids with their esports to participate in the glorious Battle Standard Festival of Peace? The Gauntlet Tech is suspicious from the start. You just know those researchers are eating through their budget based on some paper theory. The older they were, the more they grew out. On the other hand, everyone who was still a minor was held transfixed. Just by putting something in your left arm, you could soar freely through the sky with unstoppable power. Any child would be awed by that. I don't know, man. I don't know. There was a certain someone I know who read Conium. He was 14. He didn't buy it. Not at all. And adults told them to abandon those stupid dreams and studies since it was all fake. There was more behind a little prejudice behind the adults' emotions. Who wouldn't want to fly freely in the sky? If the adults had been able to equip these gauntlets, they would surely have latched onto this new tech happily. However, to use gauntlets, you need brains capable of performing a Drycy conversion on Spiritium. And most importantly, in order to fly in the sky and use your equipment at will, you need quite a lot of parallel processing ability. You couldn't display such talent without receiving special training and personal experiences from a very young age. In other words, everyone over a certain age whose childhood ended before the necessary technology and training had existed were automatically disqualified from being a gauntlet candidate. The young could fly freely, but depending on their training and aptitude, the adults could never do it. Furthermore, the combat capability they honed after long and arduous training was no match for the Dimension Container. You could hardly blame them for having an inferiority complex. Wow, what a fucking jackass this narrator is. Holy shit. Those who had achieved their current position after harsh training glared most coldly at the kids calling themselves Gauntlet Knights. Damn it. What the hell am I doing babysitting e-gamer brats like this? You're telling me each one of these runs has the same military potential as an aircraft carrier? If that's true, this planet's screwed. Yeah. Okanogi, who was serving as an augmented instructor for the aerial augmented infantry this year, bore an imposing array of medals from his chest. Each one had been an honorable award, proving that he had withstood grueling training and given all he could for the nation and international peace. Well, whether it's esports or video games, they bear the same burden we do. That means I've just gotta whip them into shape. Oh, that contestant Koshika from AOU. That was quite a yawn. I guess she must have felt confident. You got 2 emails, player! Captain Okanogi and Director General saw Koshika yawning just now, and he is pissed. Okanogi, is it not your job to see to the health of our contestants? She's actually yawning, isn't she? Ah! You stupid equipment! Now I'm getting ranked over the coals just because Chloe can't do her job right. Achoo. Your sneezes are always so fun to watch. Are you okay? Meow. Meow, I don't like you, buddy. But we can agree on that one. My nose is all itchy for some reason. And it's the top of my head. Watch you. The room was dimly lit. However, the darkness covered dignified furnishes which evidenced wealth and standing. Oh my gosh, that was the worst reading of my life. The room was dimly lit. However, that darkness covered dignified furnishings. However, that darkness covered dignified furnishings which evidenced wealth and status reminiscent of kings of Europe's feudal age. The ceiling was high enough to be swallowed in blackness, as if it were a realm of the gods that humans could never reach. Well, shit, that's a tall building. And yet, the most distinguished feature of the room was that it was triangular. So was the solemn-looking table standing at its center. On all three sides sat the kings. They were shrouded by crowns and masks obscuring their identities. Their hands were covered by white gloves, so you couldn't even tell their race or the color of their skin. And their voices had been altered by something like a voice changer. However, the fact that their suits were of the finest quality, and that even just sitting there, their class and majesty couldn't be mistaken, left little doubt that they deserved to be called kings. They appeared to be watching the International Battle Standard Festival of Peace competition between aerial augmented infantry units through their mental displays. So, tools of murder had finally risen to levels like this. It is deplorable. The masses are like babies. They ignorantly turn whatever they touch into toys. They don't even try to learn what those things are. All the better then. The common man's role is not to know. It is merely to obey the guidance of their kings. Thank you, Jestress. Turn off the broadcast. As you wish. That's a lady. As you wish. After all, mental displays can be quite tiring for the elderly. Ha ha ha. Well, even I drew on a mental tablet with my granddaughter when she was young. You've been blessed with a wonderful granddaughter. How gracious of her to play along at the dawdling pace of a decrepit mind. Ha 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 ha! This girl, who at first glance might have been a secretary, teased the kings with her harsh words. However, the kings seemed to enjoy the foul tongue of this girl, who must have been even younger than their own granddaughters. Kings who rule the top are all feared by the people, rarely get taunted or made fun of, and so their culture had long since led them to practice an irreverent expositor in their company. This person was known as the court jestress. Her name clearly referred to a female jester. How stubborn humans are. Indeed. Even when you try to eradicate them, many survive and restore their numbers in the blink of an eye, just like locusts. It would seem merely trying is not enough. Unfortunately, that's how it is. If you completely destroy everything, a few human seeds will remain. Noah's Ark failed because they left the craftsmen on too, instead of keeping it to just Noah's family. This time, we must truly return civilization back to square one. Even if we do, I imagine that humans will regain their civilization in just a few centuries. But that is fine. After all, we'll be able to put distance between them and the civilization's end. Well now, Jestress. Yes, sire? Give us today's report. Is everything going smoothly? Yes, sire. I received a report from the Grand Minister of the 9th Prime Chivalric Order, your faithful servant who's far more useful than you old farts. They've succeeded in sneaking members of the Order into Ace Gauntlet Knights units from our 4 nations. Oh. So the Battle Standard Festival children we just saw? The 4 factions sent 6 members, each for a total of 24 people. If there's 1 in each group, that means 4 of our pieces have been inserted, yes? Now, we just have to wait for you 3 to finally make up your minds. Has there been any trouble guiding public opinion in each country? Of course not. Ah, my wrist just cracked. Oh, I feel terrible. Our talented comrades are hiding in media outlets around the world. This is the Illuminati, right? All is in the name of guiding humanity down the right path. Have you still not found their research center? We still have the bait that the mighty king of ridicule granted us. We still have the bait that the mighty king of ridicule granted us, but so far, nothing has tugged on the line. What a cheap move. If we could catch them by the tail, that easily would be silly for us to go to all this effort in the first place. Don't be like that. If you never gamble, you'll never win. Then we'll wait for good news without hoping for it. After all, fishing requires the patience of a king. Is there any movements are reported at once? Now then, gentlemen, civilization's end is drawing near. We cannot fail again.
This time we must succeed. Even letting loose that many world weapons of mass destruction across the world wasn't enough. They're low kicks after all. This is our last chance, gentlemen. Our last chance to make use of God's plan and return the fate of humanity to humans' hands. We absolutely must not fail.
As you wish. All is in the name of guiding humanity down the right path.
In the name of guiding humanity down the right path.
To my beloved Lady Justress, these people must view the boys and girls of the aerial augmented infantry as the most interesting guinea pigs in existence. If I remain concealed here, they'll surely try to contact me in some way. If anything happens, I'll report on it immediately. Finally, the match between aerial augmented infantry aces from all factions is about to begin. The first event is an attack on fictional military bases. They'll compete on point in many areas, including the efficiency of their attacks and the time taken. Lilja, Pushka, be serious when the actual match starts, okay? If you don't, I really will use my trump card. I like breaking things. If there's a plate with so many breakable things in front of me, there's no way I wouldn't dig it. Meow, meow. All squads are in excellent condition. We can do this. I, Super Genius Jaden, guarantee it. With us Warcats and the freaks of Grave all together, we're the ultimate team. Yeah, the six of us are the best of comrades, and nothing can shake our bonds of trust. Let's do it. All is in the name of guiding humanity down the right path. One message has been sent to Justress. Okay. Our bows are in our hands. Our arrows are our hearts. We shall not falter when we shoot. Oath of the 9th Prime Chivalric Order. Okay, what is the 9th Prime Chivalric Order? Let me look it up. 9th Prime Chivalric Order. What is that? Order that responds to the Treant Kings. Several of their numbers are Gauntlet Knights that have infiltrated the Order of the Public Bath. The Order appears to have a brother older to the guard. Okay. What is this? 9th Prime is given free reign to assassinate anybody who gets in the way of the Three Kings' plans. As soon as assassinate shit. Unknown person during the final battle for the global truce joins them. Okay, buddy. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. A new room has been created, Pollo. Would you like to call this room Pollo? What should we pick? I suck at stuff like this. Does it matter? Just call it the Warcat room. Okay, but what kind of room should we make it? Just whatever. Go ahead and copy the data from our hotel's banquet room. Nah, that'd be boring. They've come all the way to Japan for this International Battle Standard Festival thing. Do you even care about being a good host? Anyway, what is it non-Japanese people want to visit in Japan? Kyoto, obviously. They can't visit there now even if they want to, so they'll like it, right? Ah, you can't use Kyoto's data in Japan. Oh, right, that thing. Every country's so strict these days. Is everything ready over here? I'm about to bring everyone over. Ah, crap, we gotta hurry. Let's just do something from the hotel. Where do Japanese people like to relax after a match? Well, when we're done with work, we take a bath, I guess. Ah, perfect. Japanese inns always have big public baths at their selling point, right? That'll do nicely. Something about that seems wrong, but okay.
I pulled the public bath data from our hotel's website. Got it. So something like this? Hell yeah. Meow manipulated several things on his mental tablet, and the dark wood instantly became the public bath at the hotel the AOU Japan athletes were staying. There was an open-air bath on the outside and sauna on the inside. A splendid example of a Japanese-style public bath. Personally, Meow felt it would be really weird to have a post-match celebration in public bath. However, Jaden said this was so much more Japanese, so he gave in reluctantly. Yes! Is the room ready? Please tell me it is named. Okay, it's random then it is. Room name. It is a warp public bath. Roger that, Poyo. You have created. It's a warp public bath, Poyo. What's up with the name, huh? Like, you think of a better one. Oh, that's incredible. You made it a bath at our hotel, huh? Too bad I'm an avatar and I can't take my clothes off. I mean, you could just put a naked mod on. Ooh, amazing. If you put your foot in the water, you can actually feel the hot water. I figured there'd be no point making the bath if you didn't produce it without use that much detail. Someone wants to enter the room, Poyo. Will you give him access, Poyo? Everyone's here. Meow, please give him access. Sure. When Meow gives him access, the enemies they just be in fighting to the death against appear to one by murdering the bath. Thanks for coming, everyone. Please relax. Phew, they really came. I mean, I'm still not sure about this. If those COU guys who the Glass Sea belongs to, what should we do? I'd rather not start a deathmatch when the competition is already over. Same here. One moment, I start saying the Atlantis spirit feels the high seas so the ACR can't keep it all for themselves. And next we're kicking off World War IV. I'm Lingji of Ko China, the captain of Baibao Squad. Thank you for inviting me here. How shameless to hold a party in the public bath, as I suspected the people of the AOE Japan have lost their Japanese souls. Who knows, maybe she'll change into a nude avatar to match the scene. How shameless can one be? Princess, you need not remain in this undignified room a second longer. True, it would be undignified to enter a bathhouse with a clothed avatar. Oh, but I didn't have a bath towel avatar. Princess, wait, what'd you say? You mustn't. No! Thanks for the invitation. I'm Aisha from the COU Indonesia. This red-faced weirdo is Momotake from COU Japan. I'm Sujata from Ko India, captain of Suparna Squad. I am Rukhshana from COU Saudi Arabia. I'm Andres Suparna's peacemaker. Hey there, woo. I'm from COU Madagascar. Really, I'm closer to that guy and gal, but a bunch of stuff happened now in COU's faction. Nice to meet you. Perhaps we should avoid the topic of Mozambique's channel dispute today. I'm Rithable, leader of Squad 601 from ACR South Africa. I'm Ishak from ACR Algeria, serving as Princess Rithabile's caretaker and guard. And I'm Abdul from ACR Senegal. If you notice anything strange about the princess, whisper it to us instead of telling her directly. Too much honesty can be painful after all. There's nothing here! I didn't even spill any sauce or breadcrumbs today. You ought to praise me. Princess Rethali is a member of the African royal family. I never thought I'd see a princess in this day and age. I'm Noor from the ACR 1st Aerial 9th Corps of the Cairo Memorial Squad. I'm from ACR Egypt. This cool, mysterious girl is Mariana from ACR Angola. Don't touch me so casually. I'm Mariana. Oh, I get it, 'cause she's deep. Like the Marianas Trench. Ah, cool. This fluffy little cutie is Gannett from ACR Ethiopia. Pet, pet. Don't run away. Stop patting my head. Stop petting my head. Only big sis Noor gets to pet me. Stop smothering me. Don't touch me, Noor. Don't run away, Gannett. Stefania. Oh my gosh, these three are so Yuri. Okay, there's no way these numb-looking ladies are celebrating Yuri. Unless the world really did go to shit after World War III. Neither countries nor factions nor continents can stand in its way. We're the ABN's 12th Holy Agent Corps, Yellow Dot Shuvite. The three of us will show you humanity's greatest miracle of harmony. The particular brand excitement left the straight-laced COU stunned, as well as Meow and those from the AOU. They're also in charge of PR for the kids. Okay, so your name is Steinstock, I think. Basically, they'll do pop idol stuff too. Leia from ABN Israel, Fatma is from ABN Turkey, and Stefania is from ABN Romania. And Stanstar from ABN Poland, part of the ABN Peace Department, Holy 901st Aerial Augmented Infantry Squad, Talafat Suyur. This is my colleague Naomi. Pleased to meet you. I'm Naomi from ABN France. And Naima, stop being embarrassed and greet everyone. Wow, 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 wow! I'm so sorry, I went so wild in the match just now. Please forgive me, everyone. Wow, wow, wow! So is she supposed to be a dog or something? No, it is I who must apologize. I judged you by your appearance and underestimated you. You there, Naima. Manners dictate that your champion acts like a champion in front of the losers. Hold your head up high so that the losers may speak proudly of the one who defeated them when they return home. I know, but I want to find a hole to crawl into. Wow, wow, wow. You're far too self-deprecating. We don't want you losing sleep from self-hatred again, Naomi. I'll give her a tiny bit of anti-anxiety. Holy shit, dude. These are what, teenagers? You don't need this many meds, guys, okay? Grow the fuck up. Experience some pain a little bit. Okay? It'll build character. Obviously not too much for the point where it gets in the way, but just enough to, you know, be able to handle it. Holy shit. Wow! Wow, 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 wow! How'd you like that? Naima, the invincible girl, is the strongest in the world. Wow. I'm gonna get annoyed. And unbeautiful fairy girl from AOU Finland, Lilja Meow. This lame hick is Koshka from AOU Russia. Shut up. I wouldn't mind letting loose right here, right now. Bzz. You do not have permission to engage in combat in this room, boyo. Figures. That's no fun. Sorry we're late. I'm Chloe from AOU Canada, a member of Grave Mole. Ah, no wonder she can never say no to Okonogi hitting her. She's Canadian. I got the room name wrong and had trouble getting in. She tried to get into its warped public lust. Wait, what? She tried to get into it's a warped public lust. Hilarious, meow. How does that even... But that's how my Kizuna converted the word into text. It's just a minor conversion bug. Oh my. That must mean you use the word lust a lot. That's not true! Ah! I get it. Just a bit of Japanese magic, huh? In Japanese, bathhouse and lust are both pronounced yokujo, and it got converted the wrong way. Let me look at the word for bathhouse, because I know yokujo is lust, but yokujo translation. Oh yeah, bathhouse. Interesting. But if I type in lust, I know that this one also is no, lust is yokubo. Isn't it? Can lust be translated as lust? Yokujo encoding. Oh. Yeah, you can. Passions, desire, craving. Well, I guess you could use it to mean lust. I always use yokubo though. Interesting. Personally, I think the lust version would have worked too. It's a bunch of boys and girls in a public bath after all. Too bad we're all using avatars. Then why don't we meet up offline right now? In proper attire for a bathhouse, of course. Stop that, Dookie. Don't turn red just because someone said lust. It's a warped public lust, huh? Eek. That's gotta mean those machos from the ACR, right? You mean Ishak's and Abdo's black bodies intertwined? What the fuck? Nah, that's gotta be wrapped around Stanstar. There's no way they're nuns. You can call me Stan. This is giving me a headache. What a vulgar bunch. Would you care for some head? Naomi, for fuck's sake. Someone needs to put Naomi in contact with a certain Batsura YouTube Shy Lily. I can send you the best preparation data. Princess, let us depart at once. This place is entirely unsuitable for one such as you. With everyone in COU Japan a samurai with a top notch these days? No. Momotake is just like that for some reason. It's strange. He didn't start out that way. Wow, wow, wow! Ah! This bath feels so nice. Going into a bath in your clothes would be weird. So I'll look for an avatar without them. Hold on. A maiden's skin mustn't be exposed to anyone but her fated partner. Rethabile? I'm on your side here. Hey, someone from the ABN, stop her! This looks fun. So I'll send Naima some body data for a naked avatar. Should I send her a super flat lolly lolly or a short stack lolly? Someone get her a super flat lolly lolly. That's what I would pick. Big sis Nora, let me hug you. Hey, I told you to stop being so clingy. Gah! All I want to do is hug Mariana. Hands off, Nora. I want to pet and fluff Gannett. I can't believe this shit. As I thought, even though our countries were different, we can be friends if we gather together like this. To be honest, all of them had secretly wanted to gather like this across faction lines. However, once you stepped outside of your faction, it opened up the possibility for all kinds of touchy subjects like border disputes and historical issues. They were youths in this era, so they were fully aware that all sides had things they wanted to say. And they were more than a little afraid of encouraging the kind of fierce debates you saw on social networking sites. However, when they finally met, not a single person said anything like that out loud. I did, and you know what happened? I got sent to administration back in high school. In truth, before coming here, some of them had been eager to question their political opponents from various issues, arguing them down. The AOU and the COU had the Central Glass Sea of Japan border dispute. The COU and the ABN had the Kashmir Spirit Field Joint Development dispute. And the ABN and the ACR had the dispute over ABN occupying forces based on the Northern African continent. The ACR and the AOU had the Atlantic Spirit Field dispute. And then there was the issue of AOU Russia interfering with ABN Ukraine, and COU Madagascar and ACR Mozambique's conflict over the Mozambique Channel. It might get confusing with all of those initials, but simply put, every faction always had some issue with every other faction. Even though soldiers around the world were supposedly warriors of peace who held up the walls of peace together, everyone had been a little unsure whether they'd really be able to get along if they interacted indirectly. However, when they actually met, it was like this. Everyone thought the same thing in their hearts. There may be a lot of problems in this world, there's no helping it. National borders don't just divide the world into countries, but into sets of principles and opinions as well. Borders aren't evil. They're like the walls of a water tank. Land animals live on one side and water animals live on the other. If you lose your national borders, then you lose the walls of the tank. All land animals will drown and the ocean animals will lose their water and die. In the first place, it's arrogant to assume that all life should live the same way. You have to admit that even humans live different in different countries, with different lifestyles and different ecosystems. So if national borders are necessary, you must admit that principles and opinions can be different when you cross these borders. Just leave arguing about such issues to diplomats and the internet patriots. Yo, this guy, Rikshi fucking hates internet patriots, apparently. Holy shit. All these people were born in different countries and attached to different factions. Well, maybe not him, but whoever the narrator is, that's a better way to phrase it. And yet today in this place they were all friends who had worked hard to become gauntletters for the sake of peace, or at least because of their fascination with the sky. After meeting like this, they were all able to think that. Hey, who here uses Kizna? Everyone raise their hands. Kizna was a free communications tool developed by a Japanese business. Its main function was conversation translation. Yo, somebody give this to Yusei Fudo. He would find a way to make this universal. Countless similar programs competed for market share. In the end, Kizna had been declared the winner. The Japanese company that made it was just a small collection of young people, so small that they'd been conceited to even call themselves a company. At first, its capabilities and all other aspects were nowhere near as efficient as those produced by massive corporations around the world. Furthermore, tools like this made people react like imprinting chicks in that they intended to always use the first tool they installed and were used to. That's why massive corporations created several tools aimed at youngsters. However, in the end, those youngsters turned their backs on all those tools. Of course, the young wouldn't be swayed by features pushed on them by old people resting on their laurels while scheming to gain an economic advantage. They always had ATM-type features, greedily service contracts with cancellation fees, and so on. In the end, those convenient features always came at the cost of being dragged into some paid service or else having your data collected. The usual malicious things adults did. In that environment, the simple tool called Kizuna spread by word of mouth to more and more young people everywhere. The circle of youngsters wanting to support it spread across the world, and young engineers from all over the world planet cultivated it. In this way, the tool youngsters used was Translate Conversation. Kizuna was created solely by the young. It was passed around by young people all over the world, and now, with the greatest usage rates everywhere, at least among the young. Hold on. But how would it pass around the world just through word of mouth? The world is a big place. Sure, you could say that it's got huge, but the thing is that you would think that any tech company like this would have been shut down by the big tech bad boys. Kind of like Parler. I don't believe Kizuna would have made it this far. It seems like a lapse in realism, actually. Well, not realism, but a lapse in plausibility. That's a better way to say it. The master corporations realized their mistake and tried to buy up Kizuna, but the tool created... Why would they even try to buy it up? Why not just shut it down? They have lawyers. They have technical teams. But the tool created by the young, and the young never fell into the hands of greedy adults. That's a lie. To this day, Kizuna helps translate conversation between young and people who speak different languages. That's a really bad thing. It forces people to not learn other things. Especially because some things can't be translated among other languages, therefore it'll sound really weird. Kind of like that bath joke. So you can see the issue with diplomatic speech even as the young grow older. Because one thing that they're forgetting to mention about the young is that they eventually grow up. This doesn't seem like a very good item to use. I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't be into it. To speak different languages, even now young people around the world continue to strengthen its translation and dictionary capabilities, making it capable of translating even modern slang. Bullshit. As could be seen here, people... Well, it is 100 years after World War III, so maybe it could. Dozens of countries were speaking frankly in their native languages, but it was all being automatically and quite smoothly translated by the Kizuna apps each of them had installed. No one had problems communicating. Did we not just talk about the bathhouse? Long gone were the days where language is a barrier to forming friendships. Of course, it could do more than just translate. It also had a familiar chat feature, a mini blog feature, and the ability to upload photos for self-satisfaction or to brag, and much more. In short, it used a mental tablet and mental display and directly do things old humanity had used smartphones for. But you know the difference is? Smartphones, you can leave your smartphone at home. You don't have to take it with you everywhere. All that happened inside the person's head, and the outsiders couldn't see what they were doing. And that's the issue, right? Once it's in your head, how do you take it out? Huh? It doesn't seem right. It should be an external tool, something you could take off. No one could tell if it had it activated during class. When adults activated it, it took all their concentration. They couldn't use it well. Okay, so that's an issue I have with this technology. How would a technology that was created by the young, that is designed to be somewhat, complex, you could say that, you need your brain to form a dry stick conversion, fine, and that you could use it effortlessly there. But how would you get all these kids to use the dry stick conversion? Because I know not everyone is a gauntlet thing. It wouldn't have spread this far. Not the way the story says it spread. Something about this doesn't line up. Were the kings responsible for this bullshit? I don't know. However, kids of the new generation were used as background operation. People in the generation that did their homework while watching TV might remember their parents telling them to turn the TV off since they wouldn't be able to concentrate. Well, yeah. That's kind of true. I see this a lot. I used to visit people. I used to hang out with other people in my schools. Go to their house. We do homework together. They turn on TV. Bam. Next to nobody get it done. And in the end, it's like one guy gets it done because he left the room and then came back and just gave everyone all the answers. However, even at the same time, they could watch TV, listen to music, and do their homework while simultaneously texting with their smartphones. That's crap. I understand the brain doing a dry stick conversion thing, but I'm pretty sure the dry stick conversion is just this dissociative identity disorder. I'm sorry, but the human brain just can't do that unless you're telling me that within 100 years they did some sort of human experimentation that would allow all humans to multitask in that way. Kids were called parallel processors, the ability to process power be created. The sort of ability could be mastered unless they receive it. Okay, so it's one of those you need to be super young for it thing. Look, I understand that one of the main tenets of Kikonia was that it was meant to make young people understand the old people, and it's supposed to be fun for all people. Let me look it up. Why was Kikonia made? There's a reason behind it. It was designed to be different from Higurashi and Umineko. Collectively considered fifth entry, the one they cry. Okay. Let me see it. With a larger world compared to the isolated settings, and with the intent that the player can choose to just enjoy the story or optionally try to solve the mysteries themselves, or change influenced by the 1995 anime series Neo Genesis Evangelion. The story setup was also designed to be more condensed, with episode 1 roughly corresponding to the first half of Umineko in terms of plot and protagonist. Well, yeah, this is certainly a lot faster than Umineko. This was Umineko would still be introducing Mintake and Meow. Set in World War III, Val's Lights, let me look it up. C players. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. I'm thinking. Yeah, it was something along the lines of designed to be for like the younger people, for the older to understand the younger, and that it was meant to be easier to digest. Try to remember. A genus of birds or family navigate books on child characters while convention outside of Japan. Kikonia as opposed to Kikonia. The later played South similar to the Japanese pronunciation of the word, and I missed how natural opted for Kikonia, only it sounds without science fiction setting. Blank no Nakokoro ni, along with the expansion of Neko. Thinking about it. Staff from previous one of the card games who want you to learn from the point, example specifically intended for the player to actually figure out the mysteries in Rush. Kikonia also let the player simply interest in series influenced by the 19, okay? When presented straightforward narrative, hints at a larger mysteries of the world and other change, stuff the same settings. Okay. Story was condensed compared to one of Higurashi and Neko. Both of them were split into 4 question after answer art, while the mysteries are set up and solved in the initial episode. And introduced characters and setting, meanwhile Kikonia was constructed in the span of 4 episodes. And then it's given room for answer arcs, while she deciding Kikonia's first episode to mean the third or 4th episode in terms of plot progression. This was part done due to time, as the series release schedule meant that it had taken 2 years just for Neko answer arcs to come out. That's true. Music times in the game were specifically composed to begin with, giving the listener a free listen to the song and mood for a few seconds. I'm trying to remember where it said that. I'll find it later. Oh, here it is. From 07th expansion. Let me look it up. That's the introduction. Returners' roots in writing When They Cry, partially as a response to fan demand. According to him, the essence of overarching When They Cry series is the ideas of piecing together unlimited rules. Story Kikonia was designed with today's use in mind. Yep, I figured. Ryuichi Satin writing it as a message to children who feel isolated and forgotten in present-day society. This was also a reason for the choice title 3, the replaceable ones in Phase 1. He also hoped his work would allow older people to better understand the young. Really doesn't it? I am the young, technically. And these guys are annoying as shit. Not only was that talent necessary for high-tech weapons like Gauntlet Knights, but it was thought to be a likely requirement for unknown technologies that might come into existence in the future. Okay. Not only was that talent necessary for using high-tech weapons like gauntlets, but it was thought to be a likely requirement for unknown technologies that might come into existence in the future. For that reason, in countries across the world, parallel thinking training from a young age was made mandatory as a matter of national policy. Okay. It was the first thing. Okay. This was the first generation. Okay. And so it was normal for them to communicate through Kizuna even while on the job. Technically, they were forbidden from playing with tools like that, so they could concentrate on their work, but, well, you couldn't tell someone just using a tool inside their brain just by looking at them. On top of that, they were talented parallel processors, so using Kizuna on the side didn't distract them at all. Soldiers from all countries were forbidden from using Kizuna, but they all did. On the contrary, they preferred the youth-targeted, easy-to-use Kizuna. Easy to use? Were they not just talking about how difficult it was for adults to use it? And what about the children who can't use drive stick conversion? Something about this isn't adding up. The inflexible military communication tools that had been built for adult reasons were often chatted by Kizuna during missions. Wait, so we're all using Kizuna? I thought each country had its own tool. Kizuna is convenient, and its stickers and icons are really cute. So cute, Pollo. Kero. I use the Kero Pollo stickers and stuff too. They're so cute anyhow. Not really. At least not to me. I'm Kero Pollo, the Audi Frog Pollo. My hobbies are sleeping, eating, and dancing, Pollo. Not a very nice set of hobbies. If you have any questions about Kizuna features, ask me whenever you like, Pollo. If you know how to delete me, I'll send all the pictures stored in my my pics to your friends in Pollo. I'll use the hottie icons. Well, when all the girls are using a tool, we guys have to use it too. Not really. The tools from our country are all so stuffy. The tools in the ABN have no spark to them, so they aren't too popular. I really should be using tool from my country, but this is so easy and convenient that I keep using it. I don't really care which tool I use, but everyone around me uses Kizuna, so I reluctantly gave in. And you could just isolate yourself and be fine. As long as you still have people to converse with the real world, you'll be fine. But I switched over because everyone I knew was using Kizuna and Meow. Okay, this is the logic. It's like, I switched over to Facebook because everyone around me was using Facebook. I switched over to MySpace because everyone around me was using MySpace. I switched over to Vine, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, any of those, right? Truth is, they're not all that good. Kizuna has so many free games. And there you have targeted towards me that. I make friends just to get hearts in Wanyadora. Me too. Oh, you do Wanyadora? Hey, who's your main? I use an ultra rare Wanyanus I built up into a counter shop. Yeah, we got ourselves an addict. Send me your reinforcements, so tell me your ID. I'll send you your reinforcements. The rules forbid it, but the princess likes Kizuna, so basically everyone else uses it. So you want to use it too, and that's how it spread across the world. But it doesn't explain how it originally spread. It's as though Kizuna or interpersonal bodies have tied friends from around the world together. What a wonderful thing. You say that, but you still have the ad blocker installed, don't you? Everyone around him raised their hands at once and burst out laughing. I'm the only one who doesn't have one? Someone tell me where I can find a good app. If you don't mind using one from the ABN, I can link you to a download site. Nice. By the way, since we're all here, why don't we all send each other friend requests? Sounds good. There's no rule saying you can't friend someone from another faction, right? There is, but interactions on Kizuna are practically unregulated. Oh gosh, think of all the illegal things people post on Kizuna. Damn. Now that sounds interesting, sure. I'll grant people from the other factions the honor of friending Super Genius Jaden, although I don't exactly hate unrestricted usage. Here's my take on it. If you're gonna post something illegal onto a site that has no regulation, the regulation is your country law. If they discover you're doing that shit, you're going to jail. The site won't ban you, obviously, because there's no regulation. But if there is, you'll be away from the site. I have a question. How do they remove the Kizuna in prison? Do they just, like, open your head or something? I'm trying to figure that out. Your friend request? Lieutenant Lingje. I would be happy to accept Lieutenant Meow, ace of the AOU. You can just call me Meow. Then please call me Lingje. You're quite the ace yourself, Lingje. Let's fight again sometimes. I'd also like to try joining forces and fighting against an AI opponent. Everyone started exchanging friend requests with the people closest to them. Peace and harmony. Hard to think of a better phrase to describe it. It sounds like interconnection. They're gonna separate each other from the real world. Because let me put it this way. What do we know about Meow's actual life? I mean, we know what he's doing. He's a soldier, supposedly. And that he has friends on some site called Kizuna. But outside of Jaden and the other chick, Gunhilde, who does he actually know? What's his personal connection like? We don't have any connection to Meow. Not yet, anyways. It would have felt extremely strange and enter the water itself with clothed avatars. So people form groups here and there, dipping their feet in it. It was a happy footbath and shot me happily. However, the open-air bath was surprisingly the most popular spot. The place had an ocean view that was absolutely beautiful. Thanks to the luminous 8ms, the fantastical blue of the vast glass sea could be seen even in the darkness. However, its beauty was hollow, and it made everyone feel a bit sentimental. This site, this year's festival, the Gate for Prefecture of AOU Japan, didn't originally have a view of the sea. The sea they were looking at wasn't filled with salt water, but with earth that had all melted to glass after experiencing unimaginable heat. During World War III, Japan had been hit by a single solar warhead. Everything in the vast area stretched from central Gifu to Osaka had evaporated. All of it had melted, hardened, and turned to a desolation ocean of glass. That one strike had split the Japanese archipelago in half. It was fantastically built, and also the scar with fearsome war had masses of people instantly evaporated. However, what truly interesting is no one present here knew who had created this glass sea. On the contrary, they didn't even know which countries had fought which in World War III, or what had started. See that? They're not reading the history books, guys. Or even worse, they're not doing their own research, because sometimes the history books have doctored results, sometimes they're fake. Not always, but sometimes. This Meow guy, I'm not liking... I liked Battler because he was smart. I liked Rika because she was cool and cute, but that's besides the point. I just can't get into Meow here. Of course, you couldn't find the information by searching it on the net. After all, memories from World War III have been sealed up from the entire world. That's a bad thing, you're doomed to repeat it. Why do humanity choose not to learn from its mistakes? Probably because we foolishly realize that our foolishness is learning pointless. There are so many histories as there are people who tell it. Eventually, individual history will contradict each other, providing fuel for new fires. Just forgetting everything is better than giving rise to new hatred. This is a terrible mentality, guys. In the before Third War era, intense historical research into wars had taken place across the planet obstinately to prevent war from repeating again. Humans are only capable of interpreting history in ways that suit themselves. As a result, recorded history began to change depending on each person's country's faction and needs. A long time later, these histories began to bump into each other and everyone started criticizing everyone else. In short, the research that was supposed to stop war from repeating became the fuel for new wars. And so, when on the brink of extinction, humanity picked a certain option for the first time. They decided not to write down the history of war. What countries fought in World War III? For what reason? How did they destroy the world? All of that information was carefully sealed. Bullshit! You would think that there would be some independent groups who would research it themselves. Unless you're telling me they were all jailed and killed. Which is even worse. This is some gangster shit, dude. They only knew that, as a result of the war, many places throughout the world had been scarred so badly that even the topography had changed. Well, damn. These days, we don't even know what happened, what World War III was, or why it happened. Do you want to know? At this point, there's no need to know. Yeah, after all, if we didn't know, everyone here might not be able to get along. Wow. Well, even if I found out right now, I wouldn't let it bother me. Yeah, I agree. Even if our countries were going at it, it has nothing to do with the people here now. My America and Meow Japan fought an all-out in World War II, but that doesn't stand in the way of our friendship. Meow and Jaden high-fived in a way that showed they were men who knew each other well. Okay, Meow, sorry, dude, you don't look like a man, you look like a small child. Jaden here I can buy. Maybe it's just Ryukshi's art, but Meow doesn't look like a man. You know they did that live-action Higurashi thing? I would be so curious to see how a live-action Kikoni would be. You know what series could actually do live-action and probably get away with it? The two series I could get away with live-action would be, oddly enough, Umineko. Specifically only the debates. You can't do the game world stuff, you can do the meta world stuff and the real world stuff quite well. And then, well, I wouldn't want it to, I would like to see, is there a manga for Kikoni? Let me look it up. There is no manga to my knowledge. Country had a war with America too, but I just want to be friends with Jaden. Wow. You know, me too. I have no desire to clearly demand that Meow apologize for the Sino-Japanese War. It isn't as though Meow ever attacked us. We hadn't even been born yet. Indeed. Okay, I agree that the people born after the conflict realistically have no fault in this crap. Yeah. And that's why, as we look at this glass sea, there's just one thing we all need to remember. One thing? If people all over the world become friends, a terrifying ocean like this will never happen again. I don't think so. Currently, historical research of World War III was only acceptable as an exception among exceptions inside special research institutions. Even trying to learn about it was a crime. Don't you think that means they're hiding something? In recent years, even investigating the region of Aoyu, Japan, that had been evaporated by the solar warhead had been added to this taboo. So pictures and even old maps of Japan's beloved and beautiful ancient capital Kyoto had been banned. Eventually, the simple fact that a beautiful city called Kyoto hadn't existed would probably fade into memory. Shit. If that was a necessary sacrifice of another war, then just how horrible is war? And how horrible are humans who can't help but push towards war? If humans can't help but push towards war in the constant story, who's it to say that simply banning knowledge of war would get humans to stop. Because that doesn't explain how war started. War would have started prior to there being any war, correct? And humans would have been violent, brutish as hell. This doesn't work. There's no evidence that this would work. Just so you guys know, I haven't finished Kikoni. I've only read up till about chapter 5, maybe? Not chapter 5. Part 5 of this. Because there's 4 chapters, but this would be like part 5. No, I read a little far. I got to where Meow and Jaden go on a date. That's about as far as I got. And then I just didn't keep going after that. Something about this seems wrong. I don't know. However, some have argued that this was simply because the relationship was necessary in the Cold War that followed. In the end, as long as countries led people by the nose, it may be fair to say that everything happens for the convenience of those countries, regardless of whether people end up hating each other or becoming friends. As for the fantastical blue, beautiful glass sea, everyone had chosen to ignore the fact that crowds of people had evaporated and died here in an instant. Well, they're soldiers, they probably got used to that. Maybe they had finally accepted that humans aren't creatures who can learn, but creatures who hate each other and long for war. Listen, everyone. Meow shook his head, slightly regaining his bright expression, then stood up and spoke to everyone. Oddly, despite how many people were here, they all had the same look on their faces. You know, we may be from different countries and different factions, and who knows how this world is going to turn out. But no matter how much time passes, and no matter what friends, I'd like for us to be friends. Lingji felt exactly the same, and so did everyone else. They all looked at each other and nodded. I agree. We're all friends, supporting the walls of peace together. Someday we'll meet again, as enemies, but still, we'll still be friends. Indeed. There's a great difference between opposing each other with hatred and doing so with friendship and respect despite our differing factions. In the first place, our sole mission is to give these old politicians time to cool their heads and resolve disputes. Yeah, meow. I don't want to start killing each other because some old person orders me to meow meow. That's right, Yuki. We aren't the adults' pawns. Yes, you are. Exactly. There's no need for us to kill each other. We just have to buy time so these old people can chill their boiling heads. That's not something a soldier should even say. We're comrades, supporting the walls of peace because we're soldiers. If you're soldiers, and you're all from different countries, can you really claim that you'll be able to maintain this peace long enough? Asking for a friend. That's right. We didn't come here because we wanted a war. We came here because war's no joke. Even if there is a war, we should resolve it with matches and games like today. You know, everything like No Game No Life for Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Yu-Gi-Oh! Hell yeah. No, because early Yu-Gi-Oh! Was brutish, it was violent, it was hell. Delicious. By now everyone had the same feeling, their same words on the tip of their tongues. Meow, the one who had brought up this subject, spoke those words aloud before anyone else. No matter what the world, what those asshole adults say, we definitely won't kill each other. Meow, this is when they cry. Are you sure about that? So you don't think that would be impossible, while still carrying out our duties as soldiers? If your shields break, you should surrender willingly and retreat. And you should never chase after people when they do that. Wow. After all, our left arms are so valuable, they can't afford to let us get shot down needlessly. That's right. Even the IPMA says you can't attack an enemy who's lost the will to fight. Does that just apply to those of us present? It doesn't, right? My friends are all my friends. Let's have our friends and everyone else's friends all be friends. At this moment, all the Gauntlet Knights in the world just became friends. Hold on. Didn't the King guys say that some of their guys infiltrated the bathhouse? One of these fucks are lying. I'll make my friend list visible to all of you. I second that. I'll make my whole friend list visible too. I don't have any friends. You know what, Koshka? Go play on the PS3 and add Noir to your friends list. She'll be happy to have you. Then start packing your friends list today. You have so many Wanyadora hearts, you won't know what to do with them. Ooh, okay then. Of course, just sending a friend request doesn't automatically make you the best buddies. You're probably doing it partly out of politeness, sort of like exchanging business cards. And anyway, what did it really mean to send a friend request to someone who's from a different country whose face you've never seen? Even if it was just a formality. At this very moment, all the young Gauntlet Knights who wielded the cutting edge of the world's military might were joined by the bonds of friendship. Very weak one. So instead of the tennis court oath, is the public bath oath. Let's make an oath, just like Jacques Louis David's famous painting. We are friends and allies supporting the wall of peace. We will never hurt our friends. What constitutes a friend? As everyone took an oath making pose of their own choosing, they swore to hold true to the same sentiment. We're all friends. What's so funny? Who are you calling friends? You say that you'll never kill each other when that's all your job is. Yeah, you're a soldier. Okay, Mia. What's so funny? What's so funny? You're the one who's going to be doing the killing. You are. I'm going to kill? Who? Right, over there. I am sending Wanyadora hearts to Koshka. Koshka is gaping at how many hearts you receive. Across from us, Lingji still installing Wanyadora with Mia referral ID. Take those two, you'll happily chatting right now. Koshka, Lingji, what about them? You're going to kill them. You are. By your own hands. Why? Why would I kill my comrades? Like Koshka or Lingji? Did you forget? To kill, to destroy. That's the sole reason you were created in the first place. I don't understand. Who even are you? Why do you look like me? I am you. I'm one of the many yous inside of you. So he does have dissociative identity disorder. And because I know this horrifying reason you were created, I've come to stop it as your inner conscious. What are you talking about? I don't get it. You are an object worthy of hatred. You were created for the sole purpose of killing and destroying. Any other actions you take are merely steps along the path to achieving your final goal. I'll say it again. You're a cursed creature created only to kill and destroy. Are you kidding me? Don't decide that on your own. I'm Mitake Miao. I always have and always will live by my own willpower. So I was created to kill and destroy, huh? I don't know what you're talking about. No one ever ordered me to do something like that. Even if they did, like hell I'd obey them. And yet you're already a Gauntlet Knight. So what? Gauntlet Knights are individuals with firepower of a warship, the ultimate cutting edge of military might. See? See? You're steadily preparing for your goal, death and destruction. That's not why I became a Gauntlet Knight. I just wanted to fly. That's why I made my goal to become one. And, well, it's true that I was able to choose the path because Dad had me undergo parallel process of training ever since I was a baby, but let me tell you a bit about your future. You're going to kill that girl called Koshka, and that girl called Lingji, with whom you've been chatting so happily. I don't care what you say, idiot. I won't kill him. We just swore we wouldn't. And it's not just those two. Well, look, you swore, but you swore on what? Word? That's it? Very weak, buddy. Mr. Meow, I'm afraid you're ignorant of how cruel this world really is. I'm not talking about the fictional world. I'm talking about the real world. Nothing, to my knowledge, has ever been created that is equally as cruel, malignant, and overall heartless as the real world. And in this fictional world, it's cool as shit. Imagine how you'd react to our world. Huh? I definitely won't kill anyone here, or any of their friends I haven't met yet. I'm not the only one who swore. We all did. All of us. All of us. No, they'll all kill each other too. This playing at friendship is meaningless, worthless, and every single one of you will kill each other. Well, look, man, you became friends on what, social media? Ooh, so friendship, huh? Nah, being friends on social media doesn't mean dick anymore. It means nothing. Shut up. Shut up. This is a future you'll eventually reach, and a fixed event you'll definitely carry out. Take the girl there, Lingji, whom I just said you'd kill. I can't even tell you how you'll kill her. It'll be a close-range, face-to-face aerial fight. You'll shatter Lingji's head with a punch backed by the force field. In the back of my mind appeared the image of my fist smashing through Lingji's head in the aerial battle. Quit screwing with me. This is an illusion. And even if I did pull Ling-Ji into a close-range aerial fight in the actual battle, she'd have an incredibly talented ace. In the Battle Center Festival, I was made painfully aware of her skill. Of course, we wouldn't let each other get that close so easily. And you think I'd hit Ling-Ji with my fist in a close-range battle? Huh, who do you think we are? You underestimate Ling-Ji too much. If I launched an attack that sluggish, she'd just raise her shield and send me flying away, increasing the distance between us. Under normal circumstances, yes. I think you'd do that. And so would Shade. But it won't be possible. Not for her to knock you away with her shield. After all, unfortunately for her, she won't be able to use her shield then, so your fist will continue on and crush her skull. Her rejection shield will malfunction? That's the worst sort of malfunction a gauntlet could have. No, it won't malfunction. You will kill her. The plotline will simply be carried out. I will kill Ling-Ji. And not just her. I'll tell you how you'll kill Koshika. Koshika will be swallowed up by a swarm of those guided missiles you love, and the shrapnel will tear her whole body apart until she dies. This time, I saw Koshika plummeting downwards, surrounded by sparks and blood pouring from all over her body. Even you and your partner Jaden will fiercely fight to the death. Same with the others, all of them fiercely exchanging fire over and over, killing each other. A future image flew through my head, unstoppable of all those friendships who had just sworn their friendships. Blood splattered and tears dripped down as they kill each other. That kid's gonna die too. And that one. And him. And her. Every one of them will die. They'll kill each other and be killed. Stop it! Stop showing me these crazy illusions. No, these aren't illusions. You might call them memories from a guaranteed future. You exist, therefore the future must happen. Because I exist? I exist, so everyone's gonna die? Well, I mean, everyone will die, no matter who you are, Meow. Even if you don't do anything, they're all gonna die. Just give it enough time. I'm gonna kill him? No, I don't want anyone to kill anyone. I want to be friends with everyone forever. You can't. You want to protect this world of friendship where interpersonal bonds join all of you together. Of course, I'll protect it. I'll protect friendship and peace throughout the world. That's why I became a Gauntlet Knight. Well, there's just one way to protect this world. Tell me, don't leave me hanging. I want a world where we never become enemies. It's very easy. Just will yourself to disappear. If you do, no one will suffer or be sad. Is the world going to break because I exist? In that world, I am. Oh, I'll tell you what you really are. What I really am. I'm Mitake Meow, a Gauntlet Knight of the Aerial Augmented Infantry Unit Warcat from Arctic Ocean Union, Japan. That's just your backstory. After all, there's a program built for destruction which was given the name Mitake Meow. Poyo! Kero kero kero! Someone wants to enter the room, Poyo. Will you give them access, Poyo? Whoa, who is it? Ah, they're finally here. It's those big sisters from the Lado military who were with us for today. We finally made it in. I told you it had to be a text conversion screw-up. Japanese is hard. This is clearly a structural flaw in the Kizuna translator. So you two also ended up with it. It's a warped public lust. Well, my country's official language is Portuguese after all. Japanese is tough. Ha! That proves you use lust a lot in your emails. Welcome to YouTube. It's a rap public bath. Guess that means it's time to storm a friend request. You always sent a friend request for you. You received 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 a friend request for you. You have received a friend request for you. You have received a friend request for you. Wow! What in the... My mental display got filled up with kettle poyos. That's quite a welcome. Thanks for the invitation. We're Valentina from Lato, Brazil, and Carmen from Lato, Mexico. This once. I'll let you call me Mari, okay? That means we'll have to do the public bath oath again. Wow. If bonds of friendship tie the world together, Commander will never make such a foolish mistake again. Oh, these characters are stupid. Meow, you may initiate the oath once more. Sure. Now let's do it again, okay? Wait, what? What's going on? You're just a murder program. Conio, When They Cry. Welcome to After Third War. When They Cry 5. pieces have been gathered. The pieces have been lined up. Our opponent isn't here yet. Perfect. King of Sorrow. The doomsday clock is moving closer to midnight. Okay. Now we can read this, as the prologue has finally ended. Meow from AOU Japan, member of the 17th Aerial Augmented Infantry Squad War Cat of the AOU Combined Military Central HQ, the current world record holder for the highest P3 level measurements. His overwhelming score far surpassed second place. Current Gauntlet engineer is unable to make use of most of his P3 potential, so he's currently in a state where his talent has outstripped technology. Because of his unique level ability, the AOU Next Generation Genetic Research Center and the AOU Joint Development have budgeted $100 million towards genetic analysis. Despite being an NPP, he made it to the top 3 in the AOU America Combined P3 examination, which was completely dominated by CPPs. Okay. In subsequent examinations, it was discovered that the chemicals produced in his brain and their receptors exhibited abnormal behavior. The AOU America Advanced Research Facility for National Defense determined that his was an extremely rare mental power, one that was neither superior nor inferior to CPPs, and they designated him as a special research subject. During her 3-year-old childhood health examination, she had an average P3 level, so she was removed from the selection training court. Of course, thanks to acquired P3 training, her levels rose dramatically. Though she was selected as a candidate at the extremely late age of 12, the growth of her mental power didn't stop there, and she became Northern Europe's top ace thanks to effort rather than talent. The AOU Combined Military's Aerial Augmented Infantry Commander Center granted her the position of Counselor Special Assistant, and the right to speak at the Research Development Council for PP training methods. She was chosen for the selective training course, but her grades were slow to improve and she lost confidence in herself. Her grades tended to be... Oh! You know what? The grinding has finished. Whew! This takes forever, guys, okay? And truthfully, I'm liking it a lot. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed. That was fun. It really was.